Woman. And I'm just lighting a candle to invite the other side to come join us as we gather here today into whatever it is that we are meant to talk about. We're just looking to see, I'm just feeling the energies. I'm looking around, I'm feeling it. I'm noticing spirits are filing in. It's all good. I just recently uploaded my videos that are on Facebook up to my YouTube page. And eventually I'm going to start to do those on YouTube. Now, the energies that are swirling around, which is all good, and welcome to the room. Love to see everybody. It's good that some people were able to join us that couldn't join us before. And, if you give me a shout out of, where you're from, I'm doing it at this particular time to see if the people from the United States or Canada or wherever you're from, trying to connect with as many people as possible because I'm looking for my tribe. What does that mean? Well, have you ever watched that movie, What About Steve? Or All About Steve, I should say, with Sandra Bullock. And she's got a wonderful family and everything else and great job. And what's not to love? But she just didn't fit in. She didn't feel right. So when she finally started to chase Steve all over, she found her peeps. She found somebody to connect with. She found her tribe. And that's what I'm doing. I know that I have a story to tell. I have all of this knowledge that I have accumulated and worked with throughout. Oh, wonderful. Wasso. Yeah, I love that. And, where have we been? Where are we going? And it's, most of the time we stay stuck in our tribe. That is not really the tribe we belong in. We souls chose to these parents, this particular culture, this particular state, country, whatever. But where are you supposed to end up? I do a lot of work on helping you see the energies, seeing your patterns, what you think. And the more you get into doing this particular healing, you begin to notice it has nothing to do with flaws or failures. Failures are just stepping stones. You wouldn't know to change your direction if you didn't have a little contrast. We have been taught that things are bad, things are right, things are wrong. You're supposed to know it before you really get involved, and that's not true. I got this hair that looks like a feather. It's not true. It's changing the way that we have been teaching ourselves for such a long time. Oh, good, we got a nice share happening. Thank you very much. Remember, if you're new here, every time you share this video or there is a post that I had on my wall, we'll see it. Okay, it's very important so that we can put that into the hope chest. And what do? We collect some names, and then within about 30 to 40 minutes, then spirits will say, okay, I'm ready. And then usually the other side, there'll be a spokesperson that really wants to communicate with somebody. How do they communicate is very important because sometimes they or I are not in complete alignment to the frequencies. But what it is that they look through my file system, they see what it is that I've been taught, how to communicate, and then they look and they really want you to hear them. They really want you to resolve your issues so that you can have a better life. They really want you to graduate from the physical plane so that you can go into the next level of spiritual existence. And that doesn't mean death. That just means on the other side, you'll stop recycling certain things. Okay, you'll begin to learn to graduate into different planes. And some of you have been stuck doing it 1,000 soul lifetimes, and some of you are newbies. But it doesn't matter. It's the loved ones on the other side so much want you to be happy. And they can see all of the things, of the interactions that you've had with one another. They get to see that. They get to become aware of what they've done, what you've done, what everybody's done. And it's not about blame. It's about looking at mirrors, looking at how we can grow. And can you do it this time? So sometimes we have a spokesperson because there's too many people that have passed over for them to talk to a particular person. And sometimes that particular person that you may want is not at that stage yet where they can communicate and at that frequency so that we both can be on the same page. So then somebody else will stand up and help communicate. I've even seen Post-it notes sitting in your field from your loved ones. They basically all want to tell you that the other side is beautiful. And when you're there, you begin to be like school and you have jobs to do, and they live a life. But they live it at a different plane of existence. They live it at a very high frequency that you're not able to connect to. And they are happy and joyful, more happy and joyful. Their emotions that they're so attached to, they don't receive life the same way. But they came here and they want you to move forward. So thank you again. Oh, from Canada. Wonderful, wonderful. Loving all these names. So what's this first part all about? It's about spiritual growth. It's about quantum law of attraction. It's understanding how you function as a human in this spiritual plane of existence. If you're into wanting to pull out of the matrix that you're in and step into the new part of the matrix that has already on this planet, some of us have denied, some of us have pushed aside, some of us just didn't want to participate in it. Okay? We're taught that it's scary and that you're supposed to go through a priest or you're supposed to go through somebody else so that you can communicate and get your soul saved. Well, I'm a soul coach. What is a soul coach? Well, a soul coach is somebody that will coach you to understand what your soul is saying. Help you get connected with those emotions, the thought patterns, the strategies, the programs, all of those things that make you function as the human. As you begin to learn about the other side, learn about how you operate, learn about the quantum aspect of it, the more you're going to be able to live and function as a happy, healthier human being. But the more you awaken and you start questioning and you want answers, that's where the awakening really begins. Because I don't want to live this way anymore. And instead of information coming in and poo-pooing it, saying it's bad, evil, wrong, blah, 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 you're sitting there going, I really want to know this. So you're really asking because you really want to know the answer. And this is where your soul is stepping up saying, good, because what we need to do in this particular generation or era of time is that I want you to resolve your crap that I show you so that you can evolve from it. So I love to see all these names. Hello, everybody. From North Carolina. Wonderful. It's wonderful. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you for showing up. Okay, so the idea of depression, emotions, anxiety, you've heard that there's about the past, it's about the future. Well, what's happening in the now is what's important. I remember just before I was about ready to get married, not this time, but the time before, had a great job. I had a great man in my life at the time. And it was working. It was in sync. There's no reason to feel anything less than love and joy and peace and harmony. This is way before I really got into what is emotions. And those emotions are energies in motion and how they web in and out of your life. Sometimes they're a wave, sometimes they're a tornado, sometimes they're a tsunami. But the thoughts will show you what feelings you have, whether it's being completely indifferent and to have no feeling, to being in high anxiety about the future because you just don't want the past to repeat itself. But as I was trying to figure out, everything's good, why is it that I feel this way? I had a hard time functioning and getting out of bed, and it was, I worked third shift, and there was a reason, to sleep during the day because that's the only time I could. But I didn't want to play that part anymore. What part was it? I mean, I'm happy, right? Well, I didn't know who I was. Because I didn't know who I was, and I was just my programs, my identity was based on everything in the past. My identity of the future was that I was supposed to be having anxiety about it because I didn't want to repeat it. And it's tapping into the unknown. But I didn't know any of this stuff. I just remember going, I need a reason to live. I need a reason, a purpose. Well, then all of a sudden I got pregnant. It was like, what? Now you definitely have a reason to live, because when you are pregnant and you give birth to another human, it is a whole different aspect. You couldn't figure out how to save yourself, but you know damn well how to be a mama bear to save that child. And it's a whole different ball game of how to want to survive and push yourself forward. So as I began to notice this, now later on I've had kids, and much later, and all of a sudden I couldn't understand why. It was having a hard time again. I thought I had gotten over it. No, I didn't get over it. It just redistracted myself. And I was like, I can't do this. How do I get out of bed? How do I can have that motivation? My kids would go to school, and where is it? And then all of a sudden I started having bladder pain, as if I had to go to the bathroom. So it forced me to get up. And then there are times that I ask Spirit, okay, come in, help me find my juice for life. Help me find this. And then I would hear things that would annoy me. And fine, I'll get up. But these are programs that are very unhealthy. Creating pain in my body just so I would move wasn't addressing the root cause. It was learning to cope, manage, deal, pacify, and just function. It wasn't thriving. It was functioning. I was just existing. I did everything I could every day to be happy, to show my kids joy, but deep inside I could feel this feeling I didn't understand. Then I built up a tolerance that I don't want to see that behavior anymore from you. I don't want that anymore. And the hardest part was to understand that this is not about blaming anybody. This is about understanding about what discipline is. There's good discipline, good behavior discipline, and then there's disciplining that's very violent. The monk's discipline is to learn to let go of all the over-attachments so that you do find that peace and realize that your identity isn't out there. That just in the short, there's just trying to make it so you can kind of understand. So what did I do? So this morning, now I connect with a lot of my clients that I'm supposed to communicate with the next day. I chose to learn through me instead of my kids or my loved ones. And so sometimes I have to take on that attribute and physical aspect and the mental aspects. And I've learned that what's not me and what is me. And when I began to do that, so this morning, I was taken back to that memory that I just shared, that, oh my God, I took on pain just so that I would get out of bed. How, really? And it was because I didn't want to feel, and all I could label is depression. But, we have like a few basic words that we define. And so the question was, did I have depression? No, I was caught up into silently brooding over my life without even being aware of it. began to do that at age 5 because I couldn't. The incident occurred, which I still don't know what it is, but the incident occurred, and you repress those emotions or you throw them away. What do you do with those emotions and those pictures? Oh my God. I remember when I was molested at age 7, and I remember sitting on my sister's lap. This is before car seats and seat belts, and she kept telling me I was a bony ass, bony ass. And I was just so wrapped up in what had happened to me, and going over in a 7-year-old mind about what am I supposed to do? How do I, I couldn't make those pictures, those feelings stop. And I remember as we're traveling from Owasso to Flint, there was this, right before the raceway, the horse raceway, there was this piece in the field, and I remember we'd go by it and it just seemed peaceful. And I looked at that, and then at that day, as my sister said, "Hey, get your bony ass out," all of a sudden I had tuned her out, but it was just enough that it connected. And I remember taking my feelings and just throwing it out there, disconnecting myself from it, and everything was clear. And it took me quite a few years until I was in my 30s that when we drove by that again as an adult with my kids, I looked over in the field and it just came back and smacked me in the face. I'm like, oh, what? It's not that I didn't know that happened. I was aware that the molestation happened. Do I remember all the details? No. But I had cut out those emotions. And when you cut out certain emotions, it leaves other emotions. So silent brooding was something that I wasn't even sure that was even there. So if you would ask me, hey, you need to heal silent brooding, I'm like, what are you talking about? But it was my body. The program was in the body, not in this conscious part of my mind. And letting go of certain aspects, like letting go of the guilt that it happened. Why would you feel guilty? What? You got to remember, there's twisted manipulations that people say and do. I just watched Suburban Mayhem, and this girl's emotional maturity was very low, but she knew how to manipulate and to control people so that she can get what she wanted. And her rational thing about what she wanted was not rational at all, but the way she went about it. And you got to remember that when you're a young age, you do not have that maturity of the rational understanding of certain things. It's not even about right and wrong. It's just that rational understanding. So yes, when we are very emotional, we use whatever tool to pacify, to cope, manage, and deal with, so that our world in our mind stops the insanity. It calms down and our world starts to make sense again. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, these emotions that we don't want to feel, other emotions come into play. And then you have other physical things that come into play to cover that up. And it's like, why'd the old lady swallow the fly? Perhaps she'll die. But it's the compounding, all of it. So when we're working together, I'm using an equation. I don't use math numbers. I use emotional as the components. So in equation, I literally have to see how X, plus Y or times Y, whatever it is, whatever, I have to see it. And once I find it, then we can then solve it. So as time went by, the getting out of bed was that I was helpless. And this helplessness came into play when I was 2 years old. Now, at 2 years old, I love my family, but at 2 years old, and that generation of how a man's supposed to treat a woman and how a man has the power over their children, and how, it's not about blaming, it's about understanding what we chose. Why was this monstrous thing happening? Why was this, torture happening? However you want to describe your childhood, even if it's good. We create incidences that my mother wasn't listening to me and that hurt me. In every scenario, to the person that's receiving it, it's legit. It's your story. It's how you chose to see a different perspective this time to a particular thing that you've been working on a soul level. Hopefully this all makes sense to you. But I put in all of these, I don't want to go there again. So I would put in panic. So I didn't want to feel. So this morning I got up and thought, holy crap, my triple warmer is a meridian that is the army. It's the National Guard. It's the troops that come out and gather energy from all the rest of the meridians except for the heart, because the heart's protected by the pericardium, or the circulation sex meridian. And it will take energy and it will do everything it can to make it survive. You go into fight and flight. This is why the autonomic nervous system can choose sympathetic, which is fight and flight, to parasympathetic, with rest and digest. And if your body is stuck on repeating a particular memory and emotion, then your parasympathetic does the same thing. It can't do what it wants to do. So it has to wait its turn. And then you're over in the fight and flight, even though you feel like you're relaxing. Your body still can be very much not able to relax because it's on guard. But my triple warmer, so as I'm sleeping in the morning, all of a sudden I felt this energy in one of my meridians that was affecting my lungs. And I thought, what? And I'm trying to sleep. And then, of course, you cough. And then you wake yourself up and you're like, now you're annoyed as all get out. And you're like, annoyed as fudge. You want out. You go, and then you're wrestling with yourself. And see, that I had created so that I would live. And then when I realized that process, and then I was told that story, I had to sit there and use hope therapy and focus on all of those little details. And it's amazing what your thoughts are saying. I'm like, wow, really? And then all of a sudden I had healed enough that I fell asleep, woke back up again, and it was, holy crap. And then I saw how we use pain to sometimes help get us to be motivated to feel alive. Sometimes we create situations just so that we have a purpose, even hellish situations. You wouldn't think so, but it is true. So we need to help you unwind these things, because when I was working on a client, and one of the things is that their aura. Now you can measure out in your aura, in your arm's length, and every so many inches, and you can see the etheric, the emotional, the mental, the spirit, all of them, however you name yours. You can check to see if they're connected, if the energy is flowing through, if there's communications both ways, and you can do that. And so if there's a lack of communication, disconnect. So as I was working on this person, I realized that their brain was disconnected from the nerves. And it was because the emotions of a particular time dislodged it. And as we're going through the equation of it, it came out to the end that it was not really about reconnecting the brain to the nervous system. It was out in the etheric. This tells me that because it was in the emotional body, it was a spiritual issue, and it can be carried over and through this particular life. So, what do? We wait until we heal, until our soul says, oh, this is a layer, you need to look at it, and can you heal it now? Now you're like, well, I'm not psychic, or I am psychic, but I don't understand what you're talking about. Living meditation is where you're living each day of your life, and you're paying attention through synchronicity, through your body, through signs. And when you get a twang, now in Empowerment Through Enlightenment, the word twang is when you feel something that's less than love. Now, I have a hard time almost saying that, because everything is being redefined, because love equals what? And sometimes love equals hell. Love equals punishment. And those definitions need to be resolved so that you can not carry that program. And you're able to not block love, but to let it in. So as we begin to understand that part of our survival system, of who we are, of who we are is that when you go into that part of the brain, the old survival system, and we have evolved quite a bit. But if you watch birds, for instance, I have birds, and you have this branch that's the tallest, and then you have all these other branches. And who wants to sit on the top? Well, you'll find out, because then they'll do the pecking order. I'm up here today, and you got to puff out your chest, and so those birds, it's very fascinating to watch. And there is an actual pecking order. And in the values system, when you begin to understand values, like, I can't remember, I'm going to butcher the names, but the United States had to confront a particular, another country's leader. And in order for a situation to occur, for war to occur, for everything to stop escalating, was to puff out our chest and to, bitch slap them and say, stop it. And so it was that you had to be more superior than the other. You can look through history, you can see the dynamics throughout all kinds of different wars and communications and different things. But it's learning to change that value, that you have to stay puffed up all the time. This is a particular behavior maybe that you need to change. But a lot of times puffing up is your defense mechanism, because you had to protect yourself from harm. When like I'll say to people, okay, we got to heal that haughtiness that is in you. And I have such a hard time saying that word. But the haughtiness that's in you, and that is because you have to appear a certain way. The quality of being arrogant or superior or disdainful. It's how you have to appear. So you have to puff out your chest in order to not get knocked off the branch. And it's not about the fight for the top branch, but if you're just sitting there and you're getting picked on, you have got to decide whether or not do you want to keep having to protect yourself in this manner, because it can get very worn out and tiring. I hope this all makes sense to you. So it's all about our emotions and our thoughts and our behaviors. So again, when it comes through as a spiritual issue, we don't realize, as we just have a living meditation, a living through life, we don't realize that we are meant to understand and read it. A live meditation is living and paying attention. So when your soul says, here's a twang, that's less than love, we can go into different responses of feeling that I don't want to feel that, throw it away, repress it, cover it up with indifference, puffing out your chest, having to protect yourself. Sometimes we just don't want to experience a particular feeling or a particular pattern when we watch the behaviors of others. And you just build up this tolerance that you can't do this. Okay? I just can't do this. Then what happens is that your body will start to show you signs of how much you totally believe that. And then it creates the world out here to respond to your inner world. Your inner world creates your outer world. So if you can learn how to heal the twangs, these whispering opportunities, then you don't have to really have a bitch slap or those flying bitch slaps that knock you on your knees and make you and force you to look in a different direction. So of all of those that are new here, understand if you share this live, your name gets put into a box and the hope chest, and then we'll do drawings in a few minutes to see if you can win a reading. Now, sometimes we get pushed to the hilt that you just can't go any further and you just have to fight back, which is to be hysterical. And when that happens, your whole world just crashes and you don't understand how to get back to sanity, how to get back to that place of calmness. That I remember having to feel like, why can't it just stop? Why can't this just stop? And that to me is insanity. How I define insanity was I just can't make it stop. because I'm just repeating it. It's Groundhog Day. It's just repeating it. And it can be very harmful to your body. And so, like I said, when I couldn't make the feeling of I couldn't get out of bed stop, I created a physical pain. I created it so that every day, instead of feeling like I'm being lulled into not being able to feel, chaos would erupt. And then all of a sudden my nerves were like, ah! So how do you want to feel again? How do you want to feel? And thank you for sharing. This is wonderful. Ah, Queensland. Wonderful. So we're complicated beings, but it really isn't once you begin to understand it. So I remember sitting there going, oh gosh, I got to get my head around what is energy, what is frequency, what is this, what is that? And it was so confusing. And then I got this tape, remember cassette tapes? It was Shakti Gawain, and I think it was Deepak Chopra. And it was about relationships. And as she's explaining the mirror of relationships, I said, oh, I could feel a healthy, vibrant urge, which is different than the twang, but it's just, oh, I'm supposed to know more about this. And of course, there wasn't a lot of books on it that I was bringing into. There might have been a lot of books. I just wasn't bringing it into at that moment. As wonderful, Beth shared again, so her name gets in twice. So as I'm feeling and learning, I began to hear spirit says, let me teach you. And I started to do a live meditation. I would live in a different state of brain waves. Instead of just conscious and high beta where you have to be stressed, I was able to be this person, human, but spiritually I could stand back and I could view, and I trained myself to see cues and clues. Like recently, if you've looked back, you'll say, well, what are all these funny looking things that she's putting up? And they were smiley faces. It was me learning how to communicate with the spirits, to the universe, to my world. And I needed to be more joyful. So I saw smiley faces. And out of the blue, there'll be smiley faces that'll appear. I remember being so upset, so high beta, so upset, and just, that as I'm crying, I looked down at the ground, and these stones on the ground formed a smiley face, and I could not help but instantaneously smile. And it was like, yeah, I can get out of that mood that quick if I needed to. And I realized I didn't need to be in that state of pain. So I healed the pain, emotional pain, and went from there. Okay? So that to me was so important. That I've got like another 100 smiley faces I haven't put up yet. Not sure if I will, but they're really cool because we went out in the woods and these trees are smelling at me like, hello! And I'm like, oh! I had to go over there and take a picture of the smiley tree. Rocks. Oh my goodness, because we did a lot of walking. So it's very fascinating of how you can have this live meditation, how you can move in the direction of understanding how to do this. And this is where I would teach meditations that where you did deliberately close your eyes, breathe differently, and you can meet your spirit guides or your familiars or your learning how to see cues. And I think I need to get back into doing those meditations so that you can start connecting with those parts of yourself. But as you connect with those parts of yourself, you're going to be being presented with maybe blocks and that you need to resolve. I was like, where'd my screen go? There it is. All right. So let me get my thing, timer. And before we begin, I can feel that there is a collection of information. So you have the spirits over there saying, draw them a card as a collective whole. And I've got all these decks, and I'm just waiting for someone on the other side to show me which deck they want. And they just did. Okay. So they chose for you, loved ones, is the Enchanted Map deck. Okay. Now we're going to find out what card they think that the collective whole needs to address, to grow, to whatever it is we need to do. Again, the fear of being alone is running through me. What will my people say? You know, so it's hard to be you. I can see that. Okay, it's hard to be you. And I'm not sure what they're waiting for. They just said stop. And so we're just going to coming apart. Okay. This deck has a reverse and upright. Yes to both. Alrighty. We can do that. I have to take these off in order to read. Coming apart. Now is the time to take separate paths. In the upright position, the coming apart card is assigned to put out or put an end to what is no longer working for you. Has a commitment been broken? Perhaps you need a break or a promise or change courses because you took on more than you can handle. This is a perfect time to reassess your goals and values. Are your actions in alignment with what you believe in? Now, I'm going to stop right there because they just said there's a lot of people that want to believe in this, but they can't talk to anybody that's supposed to be close and loved because they don't believe in it, and you don't want to go through all that hassle and pain. Have you created a partnership that is not mutually beneficial? Separation, dissolution, and dispersion are all the focus now. If someone wishes to break away from you, don't chase the relationship out of sense of fear. They're done with that part. The price you'll pay will not be worth the prize. So if you go chasing after something that their part is done, remember you're going to get some bitch slaps. Heal the pain of what if you can't handle that they left. Heal the pain of loss. Heal the pain of whatever the story is, because it will be your younger self that's telling the story, not the age you are now. And so separation brings good fortune. On the reverse side, the situation is unraveling and your best plans are leading you into a tricky maze. Your challenge is to separate out the elements of this puzzle to get a better perspective on what happened. You may have lingered too long in a place where you didn't belong anymore, seduced by a temporary solution. They're stopping me right there. We have a tendency to go back to what worked. And most of the time when we try to solve something that with the solution that worked, it's usually the younger self from 0 to age 7 that came up with a solution. So it's very important to understand what age you created that one. As you untangle yourself, it is important to maintain a sense of humor. Don't fret. You will learn something valuable that you need later when faced with more dangerous situations. Breathe and know that you are loved. Okay. I hope that helps you understand that they're asking you to resolve your issues. They're asking you to be okay and done with that particular situation. But don't leave right away. Start healing your shit so you don't take that baggage to the next relationship or the next job or the next house or the next town. Heal your stuff. Being that said, see, and that's beautiful. This person says, I feel that this is true for me. You never know who the message is for. It's just important to understand that these messages is from the spirits on the other side, and they already know who's here. I don't, but they do. Wonderful. We have other people that shared again. Your name is going in the box. And so I asked, Lenny. Lenny knows the time. So she says, the first person is Melissa Quinney. Melissa Quinney, if you're here, just say yes. And then if you want a cold reading or if you want me to help you answer a question, resolve something, let me know. You just won 7 minutes of a free reading, and we can go from there. So we're going to give it a minute just in case they have ran to the toilet. So that's why we'll type in, who just whose name's been called out. Thank you, Teba, for helping. Wait. There, cold reading. Thank you, Melissa. You're here. You have several people on the other side, and I don't know why, but they look like they got headdresses on or something, but they look like they're playing, and sometimes a trickster. I don't know. They're just showing me all these different things all at once because they know they have to have one representative, but they're all like, how do you hold up in a TV show? Then the camera's spanning, so you're going to hold up a sign. It feels like they're holding up signs. All of a sudden, I just felt dizzy just for a second. I don't know if your equilibrium's off or if the energy is affecting you differently. They're pointing out to habits, and that one of them is that you have to live your life through other people because at the age of 2, you're not meant to shine. So you might have grown up in that generation. They told you were vain or you shouldn't act that way, and so you learned to dim your light. Or somebody dimmed it for you, and so you learned that. And so it's a habit. The habit is to allow yourself to go into indecisiveness so that you don't have to, what do you call it? Indecisiveness, so that you don't have to make your decision, and just in case you made a decision that you're going to shine and you're going to have this particular repeat of hell. So if you don't mind, tell me if this feels like about you. We need to know what we need to communicate about. There's a great panic to be in you. You put that into play because when you were 2 years old, when you were being you, something bad happened. And the panic stepped in to be a way to be a warning system, because you don't want it to happen again. So you told yourself that you couldn't be what? And that is, you couldn't be focused on fun and loving. So as long as you threw yourself off a little bit when certain people or signatures are around, then you were okay with being you. Oh, she said, very true. So turn it on. Wouldn't it be nice? The timer? Okay. They said that you stored this in the body as a pain. So do you have any physical issues? You learn to calm yourself down by becoming indifferent to it, so you didn't have to feel that panic or that pain. Being indifferent is having no particular interest or concern or sympathy for whatever you were going through. Tummy pain. Okay. Yes, they said that's part of it. Okay. So now I'm just going to look a little bit closer. She put the pain. Where did she put it? And they said it has to do with your female parts and some parts of the lymphatics or the immune system. Anything in particular? No. Okay. And the connective tissues. What's that say? So the information that was sent back and forth from all of those areas have been, it's like being connected to the internet. You have dial-up. It would work sometimes and not, and disconnect sometimes. The reason is that you wanted to avoid, not as much as you wanted to feel. You wanted to feel alive again. What did you want to feel? What is it that you wanted to feel? I wanted to feel heaven. I wanted to feel in heaven. What does that mean? Do you know what that means? Because if you know what that means, then that would help us a little bit more to define what it is in the limited words I do have. Disconnect. What do you do? Disconnect. Let's find out. What did you disconnect? Oh, no, you can feel it. Excuse me. All right, so is your spirit in your body 100%? Yes. Is your body connected to your spirit 100%? Is your spirit communicating to your body 100%? No. So it's in the communication. So if there is a disconnect of not wanting to, then that would make sense. So when that energy becomes disconnected, it will feel like you are disconnected from heaven, that particular happiness and that joy, if that makes sense to you. And it's very important to, now what dislodged it? Feeling attacked. This goes back to age 2. So, all right, so you're using it. Okay, so you have a safety blanket, so you're not quite ready to heal that. Oh, she says, I disconnect my feelings because I've had a lot of painful events. That would make sense. Okay. So we would love to have your spirit connected and your that communication both ways again, so that you can actually feel the light filling up your cells so that you can have health again, and that with health you can also have joy. It's not the spirit that caused it. So connecting that would be healthy, but at the same time, it's a habit now. It's definitely a habit, and the habit needs to be broken. So we need, before we can connect it, we'd have to choose the habit. All right. So can she? No, she doesn't want to. Do you even aware of your habits? Because if you are, then you got to make a choice to. Okay, so she's trying to heal from the past. Now, remember, trying is that I would like you to try to take a pencil out of my hand, and when you go to reach for it, that's action. So there's a part of you that, because that connection from spirit to you and you to spirit, it makes it stay trying. Okay, so literally we need to bring that connection together. We can't yet. So because there's a safety blanket, what can she do so that she can have the success? What can she do? What is she willing to, the habit? What do you want me to do? Tell her to do with the habit. Stop being so indifferent to it. Stop being so, ignoring the fact that you have this habit. And they want you to become aware of the habit. So, off the top of the head, I don't know how you would define bad habits, but how many bad habits do you think you have? And if we wanted to label them A, B, and C, then I can tell you which one, if any of those, because sometimes you may hold on to certain bad habits to not notice the habit you're actually doing. So if you wanted to play, we got like another minute to play because I gave you extra time. There's a main feeling of awkwardness. Awkwardness seems to be really affects you, and you don't like that feeling, and you don't want to go there. You can connect up with me and make an appointment, and so that we can do a one-on personal healing. And we don't even have to do video. I have somebody in Canada that we can't meet, and so I'm doing audios and giving her information and teaching her, and then how much time I spend on that, and I stay connected energetically so we can move forward. So we got 30 seconds left. You've got to heal indifference and awkwardness. Those are the two things that are your triggers that says that I need to heal those first in order for me to feel safe. So I would definitely say to have resolve those feelings out so the thoughts change. Feelings, emotions create a sensational feeling. And that's identity. It's your comfortness. Then it creates a set of thoughts that you do and go through so that you can feel safe. But once we start to help you to dissolve and resolve, so as you go in the chemical peptides and you dissolve those so that they're not active, then the indifference and the awkwardness will start to go away. They're big fat, and you begin to heal them down using hope therapy and stuff. The feelings change, the emotions change, and yes, it's true. So we're going to have Lenny here hopefully tomorrow night. And what we're going to do is that we'll pick something that so she can tell you how, from her end, what it feels like to let it go. Okay, so thank you, Melissa. And, connect with me if you want to go any further. Now, we're going to wait a second until Lenny, I'm sure, has gone and verified everybody's name. And Chelsea put her name 2 more times in. Again, we verify as best we can. And then your names go in. So we go to that next stage. Weird. Tabitha, are you seeing orbs? Just asking because they just said, oh, Tabitha's, needs to see orbs or is seeing orbs. And can you comprehend that? You're welcome, Melissa. And Chelsea shared. That's good. Thank you. So, ooh, North, South Wales. Yay. Love that. Okay, become my friend. You don't just have to be a fan if you don't want to. You can be my friend on Facebook as well. But I do a lot of posting of wonderful posts. Yes, Tabitha says. Okay, draw a card as soon as you see one. Just don't go panic mode. Don't try to control it with emotions. Just thank you, Spirit. Grab a card, or just shuffle until something falls out. Okay. All right, so Lenny says, next person is Marcy Cinnamons. Marcy Cinnamons. I like the way I said it. It sounded like a cinnamon. Marcy, if you hear, sweetheart, you say yes, and you want a cold reading, or you have a question, then you can say yes, and then write your question, and we'll go from there. Well, what happened here? Oh, I see. I gotta clear it. You, Marcy Simmons, you won 7 minutes. Aw. Tabitha said her kitty cat's in a bad way. Probably that's why you have to draw a card, because it's about probably having the communication from the other side to help you to cope, handle, deal, or whatever it is. But I feel that that's what you need to do. We'll give Marcy a few more minutes. If you're new, again, share, and your name goes into the Hope Chest box for a chance to win a reading. Okay, so Marcy. Oh, thank you, Amy. So we'll wait because you're all connecting. We'll wait. She may actually come in. Hopefully everything I said today you can understand. If you have any questions about, what I've said in the past, and you're trying to grasp it so that you can grow, you just go ahead and you can and write me. And I have a quantum law of attraction group that some reason nobody wants to talk, and I think it's because nobody actually gets to see, that I've posted something or whatever. But if you post it in there, if you want to join to the group, it's QLOA, from ashes to ash, which is ascending spiritual human. Okay, and so post your questions in there, and I'd be glad to help everybody grow, because nothing is stupid. It's all about what perspective is that you're seeing. Okay, so if you want a reading, again, if you want it free, it is to share. If you want a paid one, it's expedite. And if you want a appointment, you can do that. Next one, Ann Wheeler. We're going to call upon Ann Wheeler. You have won a free 7-minute reading. Okay. See, it's so hard to know if anybody's here. It doesn't really show. It just shows me how many are on and how many not on. It's interesting because as the new energies are coming in, our 7 chakras are our 7 levels of consciousness, and as they web in and out of learning how to grow and to see and have love again. We found out what we're not, and now it's time for us to let that go so we can remember who we are. Do you have a PayPal link? Where can I donate? Yes. It is B. Do not put www, but B Power. And that, oh, sorry, B Power. And then it goes mw.weebly.com. Now, I can't, I didn't bring the link over here, but I don't know if Lenny has the link. But if Lenny has the link, then she can go ahead and put it up, that because this will take you to any of the things. You can go down to the expedite button, and you can just say, you know, put some money in, and you can say donate if they give you a chance to do that. You know, however you want to do this, because there was actually an expedite button. Now, wonderful. Amy shared again. We appreciate that. I have a YouTube that needs to get going. What else do I have? All right. So I don't see Ann Wheeler or a Marcy Simmons. So we'll go to the next person. And the next person is a Mary Reardon. Mary Reardon. You have won a free reading. Now, again, you can only get the reading if you're here live. I do not, you know, so if you contact me later, you know, you have to be during the show. That's part of the things, because I don't get paid for doing this. Lenny, we welcome Lenny, and she doesn't get paid for doing this. She's volunteering her time, and I know that she has a child to take care of, so I appreciate all of her help. And, you know, so Spirit said this is how it needs to be done. Okay, anything. Mary Reardon, we're going to give you another minute or something, and then if not, then we will go on to the next person. And if it takes a while, because there's sometimes a lag, and oh, good. Thank you, Samantha. She shared again. I do not see a Mary Reardon. Oh, it is written down as Mary, Maique. I can't read that. L. Reardon. Give it another second. Again, people jump off and on all the time, and whew. So like tomorrow night, like I said, tomorrow night Lenny's going to be here, and we're going to take that. Okay, so we're going to learn how a little bit more from a different perspective of healing. Cassie Lewis. Cassie Lewis. Oh, I think I saw that name. Well, whatever you want to, if you're donating, whatever you want to donate, it's you know, yeah, I do take donations. If you want to donate, you can put whatever amount you want to donate. But if you're expecting a reading, which is different, because in my mind, if you're expecting something else, then I need to be on the same page with you, because there's different things. Like, I'm going to probably do some of the expedites so that, oh, wonderful, Tabitha, thank you. Some of the expedites to maybe have them on sale, so that like when we do an expedite, you know, you just have to pay 11, and that'll be the special price for the day, so we can do it live here. You know, so since I said that, if you'd like one, you could do that. If you have $11, you know, just hit the expedite, put 11, and then you tell me that, and then I'll check to see if you know, if it's paid, and we'll just go right directly to you, and we'll go from there. So, did she go, or is she here? Because I swear, Cassie, I swear I saw your name. Oh, here, there you are. Hi there. All right. So Cassie Lewis. All right. Did you want a cold reading, dear? Oh, I wish my screen was just a little bit bigger. All right. So I'm going to gear up and get in that field and someone from the other side immediately just is going to just grab a card for you. They said, "It's me, dear." I don't know. I think it's a female voice. I'm not sure. So, Cassie, are you still here, dear? You were here 2 minutes ago, I swear to God. All right, so we'll you know, if you, hopefully the donate or the money button will pop up and we can go from there, or money button. The email comes through from there. So it's funny. You got to stay on to win it, because Cassie was, not Cassie. Yeah, was it Cassie? I don't know. I got to get this mail open. Yeah, everything's supposed to go through PayPal. Yeah. I don't know what Facebook Pay is. Never tried it. See, that's something new. If it does, hopefully it'll tell me. I just don't. Okay, so really, Cassie Lewis is not here. All right. Since Cassie is not answering, I'm assuming she got off just seconds before her name is called. Okay. And I will have to pay attention to see whether or not it has come through. While we're waiting, just going to have her, okay, see, Lenny is right on target with me. So, Beth Williams, are you here? Beth Williams, are you here? I would really like them. Beth, are you here? Beth Williams. Okay, so Chelsea says, I just need your email to do PayPal. And that, for my email for PayPal is bpower.mw at, with my at symbol, dr.com. bpower.mw at dr.com. There, we can go that route. Okay. Melody's back. That's good. Oh, wait. Did I see a Beth Williams? Wait. Yes. Oh, my God. Do we got a hit? Beth, say, yes, it's me again. Do we actually have, can I really do this? This would be great. Okay, so anything you feel I need, please. Gotcha. All right, well, I'm going to put this card away because that's not for you. Let's see what is for you. I don't know why I hear chirping. So they're all just standing back, staring into the camera. I you know, that's their way of saying that they're perked up and listening. They say that there is something physical going on inside of you. And this physical is because of, what about me? Okay, it's not being about selfish. It's the expanded importance of self. It's what about me? It's when you began to realize about 9 years old that it wasn't about you and it was about everybody else. It's like somebody would steal the limelight. And it's like, it's not about wanting the limelight. It's just, you know, you doing these things for everybody. What about me? And it's a hit. Good. So, and then over time, it seemed to really turn into this habit of making yourself always last. Did you think it was wrong to say, what about me? sometimes it's the correction of how that generation that teaches. They say there's a lot of times that you would hate yourself. Is that correct? Okay, so far everything's resonating. She said, okay, so understand that there's a party that really needs to, this habit really needs to change because it's not doing you any favors. And it worked at the time that you made them and believed them, but it's no longer as true. They're saying there's something, energy that seems to be stuck in your trachea. And something to do with your lymph nodes. So again, if Beth, if you Williams, if you were to look and tell me, can you tell me what your physical pain or issues are so that I can have more of an idea, so I can really zero in on that energy field? If that makes any sense. Come on. Because, well, did you have, I don't want to say laryngitis, that's wrong. What's the throat pain, people? Oh my God, is that escaping me or what? I can see it, but I can't read it. It is like you would have major ear aches or you would have throat pain. There is a particular thing that it's repeating itself. So yes, there it is. Okay, so we're going to do a reading for somebody next. Yes, Chelsea, the payment went through. I'm trying to see it. There's, oh God. Yes, my lymph nodes. Oh, are sore under the arms. Okay, so both arms? Let me look. You're storing your anxiety. So did you have anxiety before? Because I'm hearing it's stored. It's like, we call it repressed, suppressed, whatever. It's pushed. And you've learned that you just become indifferent. I can't handle this anymore. So there's something about the environment that you're choosing. So if it is true that you can't handle this anymore, understand that your defense is up and your defense is worn out. So all that means is that you've got your foot on the brake and the foot on the gas at the exact same time, and it's tired. Okay, it's tired. And we need to readjust those parts of yourself so that your body can begin to heal. It needs to go into rest and digest and to begin to heal. Because it's just, it's kind of, and so what else is in there? It's like you've had to learn to puff out your chest and be lofty just so that people will back down and shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God. I don't think you're a violent person, but sometimes you just wish you could bitch slap somebody and get away with it and not have to go to jail. You know, you're like, okay, I will control this. I mean, you can feel the energy of these people. I feel like it's really hitting me hard in my face. Okay. So what I think that's important is that understand that it's unstable. Okay. It's muddled. It's unstable. There's nothing solid. I would address that as a way of helping you, taking the triple warmer and having it calm down. If you knew about Hope Therapy, I would tell you to hold R3S, because it's too high. It just doesn't, it's trying to stop and go at the exact same time. And it seems like the lens is all you get people is that they're egotistical snots. If that makes any sense. Okay. Okay, yeah, I feel she's laughing. Okay, so what can you do? The best thing is there are some free tools, and one of them would be to put your hand on your forehead. These are considered neurovascular. So, this will help bring the blood back up to your brain, because right now it's 80% in your fight and flight. When that begins to occur, you're like, oh my God. So what we need to do is that you just do this, think of your health, think about, we could go deeper, but you'd have to make an appointment. But put your hand on your forehead and then just keep it there. And eventually the blood will come back up, the thoughts will calm down, and then the lens will start to not be so strong to see those people, if that makes sense. Okay? Now, we have somebody that paid, and we're just going to jump right to them. And I wish this thing would stop jumping around. Chelsea, I said if you just pay $11, I will give you a reading, and that is a sale price from the stuff that's in the expedite. And I will, yes, I'm very appreciative that you've done that. So, do you have? So before I set the timer, I'll give you 11 minutes. We'll go that route. 11 for 11. I need to know, is there something in particular that you would like to talk about? Because if you want, when somebody really wants a reading and really wants something, there's something very specific on their mind. And I'm just checking to make sure I'm not missing any communication here. I'll set the timer for 11. Oh, you're welcome, Beth. And Chelsea, anything? Just do a cold read, because I feel like you got a question. There's some need or some urge. There's just feel it. Okay. And if I don't see it, Lenny, I know that Lenny will remind me, so that'll be good. And so, I see a new message. Let's see what we got. Cold reading. Okay, ready? Thank you very much for paying. We appreciate it. And okay, they're pointing at two things at once: hysterical and lives through others. Okay, if you have any hits, the things that I say, it's very important to connect with me so we can follow that particular variable. They said that there's an action. What's an action? So you're taking action. What kind of action is this person having to take? You're having to, it's a have to. You'll learn more about those down the road. Have to live through others. It's like you're forced to be on that back burner. Does this make sense? Why? It's a form of self-abuse. It is when you take self-imposed limitations. You have to put yourself in a limitation, and you have to impose it yourself, because it's a self-abuse. Oh my gosh, you were told. Whoa. I'm getting that it was kind of instilled into you that you can't shine your light. I'm going to tell you, today's all been about you can't shine your light. You are meant to, Chelsea says yes, you're meant to learn right from wrong, as comes from the people that said it. Now, we're not blaming, but their belief system was that you had to, quietly do this. And so then you would look at people and you would live vicariously through them, because it was so much easier, safer than to do it yourself. I feel like you weren't really allowed to talk or back talk. You weren't really let to talk. It's not even about back talk. Back talk is when you would talk back to somebody, but to talk. When you would go to talk, you were used to be apparently good at it as a kid, but then then about 7 years old, you became very awkward to talk and not able to, if that makes sense. Now, they say that you remember your specific experience. There's one in 7 years of age that's very strong, and it connects to the one that was how many months? You're 7 months old. At 7 months old. At 7 months old, the way that your eyes would watch, you watched habits. So you watched the others around you, that you're supposed to shut up. But it wasn't until you got 7 years old when you begin to really be yourself that I feel like you got knocked into place. It's like you remembered, oh, I'm not supposed to talk like that. Oh, she says, yes, hit. I wasn't heard even if I could. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So now that, the way that you wrote it, so why couldn't you be heard? Because you were looking for, they were looking for. No. What are you trying to say? And just no, praise. So did you grow up in the household without praise? You just, reward and punishments. You just had punishments. That's important, because if you have nothing but punishment, then you wouldn't allow yourself to be in that space to what happened it to? There's another simultaneously. So they had those two instances, and you had another one that came in. And they're saying that this auto response is stored in the physical body. And it's panic. Panic is stored inside. It feels like the bones or something. It's stored inside. And does this make sense? So if you have any physical conditions, sweetheart, please let me know. No punishments, but no reward, praise either. So how would you know your guidance system? How would you know that you were doing the right thing? So again, this goes back to not really being heard. So yeah, I feel like it's in your ligaments or your cartilage. All right, so I thought, okay, so she did. Wow, okay, so I'm getting a actual physical. So do you have a habit of condemning yourself? Well, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say degrade yourself, but condemning is what the word they just used. And there is a particular pattern. So remember I told you it had to do with being affecting your like ligaments or muscles. Could be in your fascia. No. Yes. Okay. So do you have, okay. But what you stored there really needs to come out. So this auto response that you have is that you have to act a certain way. And they said that you mix several behaviors or emotions to create a particular behavior. Like you have to feel awkward, lofty, means you got to puff out your chest to stand your ground. And then you did self-abuse and arrested development. So you weren't able to grow to do what? To have compatibility with people. So this is where the voice was not really heard, because the compatibility is at the energy. So now as I look, I can see, so your aura comes out, but that particular thing, where is it in the back, that actually sunk in. So that part of that energy is pulled in, and it is creating a physical particular pattern. So it's the action that you took. I don't know if you felt too proudful and they had to bring you back. Do you understand what I'm saying? And oh, there you are. Does that make sense to you? It's definitely, it's very much, the equation has got a lot of things happening at once. So we're going to look at something in particular. They just told me that the habit is linked into how on the right side of your nucleus. Okay, so nucleus accumbens, which affects whether you have depression or not. It's the interaction with the environment. With people, it's the interaction with the environment, which includes people. And you can feel, so they're saying that part of you is an empath or something, a sensitive. And you can feel the thought patterns of people, which then throws you into your shell, and your voice can't be heard. This is inherited because you saw it. So it is definitely something that your parents could not resolve in their lifetime. And it can, how many generations back? You're talking about, give me the first number, about 15 generations. And from her, is it her mother? It's her father's side. And then it goes and spreads from there. Wow, they're taking, clearing the throat, finding your voice. It's, what is this outcome? What about the outcome? It has to be a controlled outcome. And it's connected to worthless, to feeling worthless. It's like, this is the plug in the sink. And if we were to pull out the feeling of how you know what worthless is, if that makes any sense to you. Okay. So you have like this root or seed that has been carried from generations, and now it's your turn to resolve it. And if you were going to resolve this, I would definitely say, if you know anything about, definitely know about emotional freedom technique, you could start tapping on this root. They said that the word vein has been popped up into your space many, many times. And it's like, you're like, what is vain? I'm not vain. Oh, I am vain. Somebody said I was vain. Or, you had to question that word many, many times. And it's important to, I'm just going to look up something here. They said that it's, in this case, it's not about having or showing excessive opinions of one appearance. It's about producing no result. It is useless. So there's a part of you that feels like it's futile, it's worthless, it's vain, it is producing no result. I would definitely, set up an appointment with me, or so that we can really get to those levels, get rid of that seed, pull it out by the roots, whatever it is. But you have to heal the inherited aspect. It's not just looking at your stuff, it is in that inherited space. Hope this all makes sense to you. And let's see, anything else about aloha? I don't know what that is. I just heard aloha. They try to get it in before the alarm rang. So anyway, any feedback from you, that would be great to let me know. I did get to read some of the comments. I get to go through and watch this later. Now, that was a paid expedite. That was somebody that really wanted to know the answer, that could give to receive. And we did it here so that you can learn a little bit more. Now, yes, I do free readings and stuff like that, but only one way to get a free reading is to share this, get your name put in a box for a drawing. Now, the last one for today, oh, good. Chelsea says, yes, makes sense. Well, heal that, dear, because it's come to you. You don't need to pass that on. And even if you already have kids, you could heal that out of you. And it heals you, it helps heal the family, but you also heal us and consciousness. Now, is Marcy still here? I got to see, I think, Marcy Simmons popped on. I think I saw Tabitha answer question. Wow, that just doesn't pop up good. Oh, I see it. Okay, Marcy. Yes, you had one, a reading. And what I'd like to know is there anything specific that you wanted to talk about, or a cold read? Oops. Okay. And okay, she just said I'm here. Okay, so we have to wait. Was this for her? No. Okay, so I'll put that back. Thank you very much for paying. I really do appreciate that because it helps me. It's an incentive so that Mama can eat. I can eat. I can pay my bills. I can, So, and cold read. Wonderful. All right, ready? Clairvoyant, clairs. So you have intuitive abilities. Let me know if you do, because they're really saying that we need to develop those a little bit more. They don't even want the emotion. Okay, so cards, color. Give her a color. Give her a color. So we will. This is the secret languages of color cards. Very good. And we're going to pull you. Well, they will pull you a card. Be clear, be clear. Sometimes you get too many thoughts at once. Be clear. So in this case, when you're receiving from the other side, put them in a chute. Say one at a time, one person, one representative. If a bunch wants to talk, one at a time. Be clear. And then you be clear, because sometimes you're trying to translate what they're saying, or you're trying to come up with answers to what they're saying. That's when you're being intuitive. The last thing you want to do is pull a lot of experiences and then say, this is what it means. They want you to be very clear, because sometimes your thoughts as you're receiving interferes, if that makes sense. All the time, too many thoughts. Okay, we'll have to address it in that fashion. You're going to pick one? Just stop. Apricot, rejoice and listen up. Okay. Rejoice and listen up. Apricot. It's number 10. It's by somebody asked who it was. Ina Segal. Ina. I like her stuff too. Apricot helps to lighten any heavy or burdensome energy you may be carrying. It brings enormous vitality, joy, and zest into your life. Apricot also assists you to release irrational fears and anxieties. It is a color of creativity, fun, and intuition. You can meditate on it. You can also get a material that has apricot color. Get a glass bottle, no words on it. Put the apricot cloth around it and set it in the sun, and charge your water to become apricot so that you can drink it. You can wear apricot next to your skin. If you have a certain smell that can be related to it. Joy, today is a day for rejoicing. Remind yourself of all the golden moments you have experienced in your life. Okay, so as I'm trying to read, somebody just smacked me in the head. They're kind of look like they're recreating a moment. What are you, stupid? It's like a gesture of disagreeing. The answer is yes, Chelsea. It depends on what you're asking. What the heck? What are you guys doing? It's like something behind my back. So is somebody doing something behind your back, which then changes the frequency in your body so you cannot pull in joy? Because we're hardwired for joy. Are you used to having somebody mess behind your back? Oh, okay. She said my dad always did that. Okay. Well, okay. The biggest one was at age 5. That's why the frequency is lower. Now all of a sudden I'm starving. It's like I have not ate anything. I am absolutely, I need food. This has to do with you. And I feel like there's panic that you may have been poor one time, or you're afraid that you're not going to be able to make enough money so that you can feed yourself. But all of a sudden I feel a panic that I'm not going to be fed. And now my stomach, I mean, literally, it's creating, excuse me, creating havoc. And when usually there's that much going on, they're saying there's emotions. So now I need to find out, oh, there goes that pendulum. What emotions? Laughter. So are you not able to have joy in your heart and laugh? Because that's important to know. Divine Spirit says, assist me to awaken the joy and the laughter and the spontaneity of my heart and soul. So there sounds like there's a block. That's what it sounds like. Literally, okay, why do you need to keep repeating, hitting me in the head? And that is a panic. So who has the panic? And are you familiar with the panic? As a kid, I was told not to. My daughter. Dad always did that. Not to. Okay. So you're used to knowing what this is. And they're saying that it is an automatic response. And you too, it has hit on a physical level to show some form of symptoms, or not to laugh. Okay. Whoa, that's why the emotions are very chaotic in there. The arrested development. Now, they want me to explain for any and all those that have heard the word arrested development is that as you begin to go in life and you're growing, something will particularly occur, and then it stunts you into doing something. For me, it was not being able to be compatible with people or in my environment, and it's taken me a while to address this, especially when you don't have tools. And the arrested development for you, that's turned into a physical issue, happens to be panic comes first, but it's like you're not allowed to have what? Good humor. It's like you weren't allowed to be happy. It's like as soon as they saw that, they're like, it's like wrong. You can't be that. It's like if they can't be, you can't be. Ooh, that's the old paradigm. If I can't be, you can't be. Oh, it's like if I can't do it, you can't do it. Does that make sense? There's a lot of energy feeling that way. So she's having trouble with food in the last few weeks due to what I'm unsure. All right, now in food, again, this emotion sets and blocks it so that you would have the issues that you're describing. I will go and look to see if the foods that you're eating, if you have an insensitive, an intolerance, or an allergy to certain things. And they're saying that you have an intolerance. It's something you cannot put up with anymore. And they said it is some particular thoughts and certain things that you've ingested. So like when you're eating and you're thinking about something, the combination causes you to, it actually becomes very toxic. So then you're going to start showing symptoms, which causes you to create into a repulsion stage, because compatibility is great, okay, and repulsion is over here. So in the middle is 0. So every time you go out, it goes +1. You know, this for this being repulsed, it becomes a -10. This one is compatibility can be a +10. But when you begin to have issues, it comes down, you know, -3 or +3 instead of a +10. And then all of a sudden it hits 0. And then it goes into a -3. You know, so literally instead of being compatible, you'll start to repulse and you'll start getting symptoms. But what can't you tolerate anymore? And they're saying a very specific thing that you can't tolerate is taking to make to feel like shit. I am done made to feel like shit. I had enough. And your body is showing that. Okay, she says, I was very abused by my parents. And even if you're not getting that abuse from them, you're going to get it from other people because it's unresolved mirror issue. And if anybody's not doing it, then you're going to have something do it. And a lot of times we'll do it to ourselves. So this is a particular pattern that literally needs to be broken. Okay. So I would definitely want to start off with healing made to feel like shit. It's a complete belief we accepted, believed, and surrendered to, that now it owns us, and we over-identify with matter, and therefore we lose our ability to go into that next phase of who we're supposed to be. You literally get arrested development. You can't move on to joy and have good humor because everything's tied to, if you do that, this will happen. Okay. So you're learning how to come out of the effect side of the equation. You want to learn how to be the cause so that you can change the effects so that you can stop having to be in the victim. It is the paradigm of having victim paradigm. And we can break that. Does that make sense to you? Oh, Marcy says, it started up again when I put my daughter back into my life. Okay. My hair. That's good that we get to understand, and I'm proud of you for that, because a lot of times we don't even allow ourselves to know that about ourselves. I mean, literally, we're so good at ignoring it or letting it go or told it's a flaw or feel like it's judgment. I don't want the hot seat for you. I want you to be able to hear me spiritually, and it sounds like you have. You can do something about it. You can literally change all those things I said. There's healing tools, resolution tools. There's, don't be a victim. Find somebody. You can make an appointment with me no matter where you live. We can do healing. You can, if you want it bad enough and you want change, you will go after it. So however you do it, slowly, fast, with somebody, without somebody, I mean, it's your call. So thank you very much for participating and sharing, and really appreciate that. So let's see. Hold on, my thing went down. So let's see. What time is it? It's almost time to, it is time to go. I'm just going to ask Lenny, so do we have time for, let's see what happens there. It's so important to be present when I call out the name to win, because, again, I will not fulfill them way afterwards if that's the case. If you want to share, that's great. We get to grow. Re-listen to these, because what someone could be going through could be also your story. And then you can, learn from it, to grow from it. You're welcome. So, Lenny, if you just respond to what I asked, that would be great. I will be here tomorrow night. So that would be 9 p.m. Adelaide, South Australia time, and which ends up being 5:30 in Eastern Standard Time in the Eastern Standard Time hemisphere. But before we go, I did see a person pop on that I had called out earlier that said that won something. And so I'm going to see if she's still here. I did see her name pop up. And that was a Mary Reardon. If you're here, I will honor that reading. So, if you're here. So, just to let you know, I will only honor it if you, pipe up now. Connecticut, woohoo! Let's see, anything? Okay, so I did see the person's name, and now I don't see it, and then give it another second. There it is. Yes, Mary, it's you. Okay, I will honor this. I'll give you 7. No, I'll give you 7 minutes before we go, and then I'll give people a card. You had the journey card. You are the one that said, okay, Spirit said journey. There was a card that had came up that was picked from the other side, and it was a journey card, but it came in reversed. And the deck that I would be using would be the energy deck from Sandra Ann Taylor, which is a great deck, and it's got upright and reversed. And that would be great if I knew the number 2. Well, that's easy enough. Because it came in reverse, we're going to look at what it is saying to you. They on the other side are the one that picked this card. I'm not sure who it is on the other side. It says, you may desire to move or just get away for a while, but the reverse of this card indicates a delay or even a cancellation. Something could be standing in your way, or perhaps lines of communication may get crossed. Don't let the potential changes upset you. Refocus your energy and be flexible enough to alter your schedule or destination as needed. Remember, you can always create new ventures, even in your present location or situation. So what they're saying is that you have a particular thing that's dislodged, the journey or the focus that you are on. Okay. So if Mary fell asleep. So, did you have an adventure that you wanted to do? Well, I'm going to look for and see what is it that disrupted it. And it was, who in the heck was hysterical? You didn't think things through. You didn't. So the response, is this herself? No. Did somebody respond to you in a hysterical way that would cause you to change your particular pattern? If so, let me know. Okay. It is the way that they responded that caused it discouraged you, because I feel like you thought maybe they were right and you were doing the wrong thing. My daughter passed away. Oh, good Lord. Well, that's what I feel is present here, if that makes sense. Okay. Really? She just said, I'm sorry that I failed you. So this does feel fresh to some degree. There's something to do with a particular experience, because does she need to resolve it? Okay, yeah, all right. Connections. What are pearls? What about pearls? I'm seeing like a pearl ring. I'm seeing pearls for some reason. Mary, are you with me, sweetheart? I need to be able to communicate with you. 11:11. Oh my. Okay. All right, stay with me, sweetie. Why would she feel that way? I don't even remember what she said now. What's past? Now she's on my other ear. Third chakra. So she's in the gut. Fear, pain, what? Feels destroyed inside. Oh, yeah, I could see that. You want her to stop being destroyed. You want her to stop being destroyed. That is part of. Okay, so the thing is that you discourage yourself. Okay, she wants you to recenter yourself. And all the times she said that we look at people and we're like, oh, they're so self-centered. In this case, it's not being self-centered as much as putting your self-care putting yourself first. It's not bad. It is actually a healthy thing in this particular lifetime. So the pain. She says the pain is very strong, and I can see it. I can see it. So the pain. So what would you like me to do to help her? We only got 2 minutes left. She has a heart wall. Okay, so what's the heart wall? The heart wall is about failure. You feel like you failed. You failed her. You failed. So what I'm going to do is, for her sake and for yours, and if you want this, I'm putting it on the bandwidth. And if you want to heal this, then you can come back to this video and you can grab a refrigerator magnet or your hand. And you're going to think heart wall. And you're going to do this 10 times. Heart wall, failure. 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 Okay, so the thing is that if you let her go, that's not, you understand those words. She won't open my eyes. The letting go is not that they're gone forever and you're never going to think about them. It is the letting go of a particular pain, pictures, incidents that causes, rejected from the car. She was fighting with boyfriend and he drove into a traffic. She was ejected from the car. Okay. That's why she feels like she failed you, but then you feel like, so the hidden wall of failure, did you try to, there was an agenda. Are you referring to you, or you're referring to your mother in it is the interaction. It is like teaching her right from wrong. Okay, so well, my eyes, it's interesting because my eyes are wow, my eyes, it's like you got they're cloudy from crying, or there's a cataract, or there's something that can't be seen. Do you understand what I'm saying? Time to heal, time to heal, time to heal, Mom, time to heal. Time to heal the interaction in the environment. So have you left the house or haven't you left the house? There's something about you're associating certain things with certain things, and it literally causes you to change your mind. Okay, so people remind me, was this journey card for her? Because all of a sudden I've got too many thoughts in my head, and I'm trying to come back as Brenda to catch up with what. Okay, so you're not able to leave the house, or you're not able to do something because you're stuck. If that's the case, then your mother. Oh, okay, so then that's probably what she's here too. So, Mary, are you? I'm time's up, but are you? You have trouble moving on from this? Yes. If so, understand that I've helped myself and many other people move on, not to let go, but to actually get more connected to those from the other side. And it's healing the heart, and it's healing the pain, and it's healing the things that are stuck, that doesn't allow yourself to move and to feel again, and to okay, so I'm becoming a recluse, closing myself off. They don't want you to. They want you to remove the block that causes you to think that I can't do certain things anymore. Okay? It's so important that you understand it is a block. And we would take baby steps. We would take the step that your soul says is safest to take. And if any of you, again, I'll be on tonight, Mary, you want a healing, you can always make an appointment, because I understand these issues. the loved ones all say hello and they love you and thank you for coming. They hoping to see you again. Like I said, I'll be here tomorrow, Tuesday, which is, I don't know. South Australia, it's 9 p.m. And then Eastern Standard Time, it is 5:30 a.m. Wow. Okay. If you want a free reading, you know you have to share and be present when your name is called. All right. I love you all very much. This was very strong and intense. I hope you learn to grow and to heal. So like I always say, please, please, please stay blessed.